It's time for the show that brings the magic right to your speakers. Ears up!
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. We got a good show for you today. Bev is going to sing...
No, she's not.
A punk rock version of Jolene. Ready, go, Bev!
No.
All right, good job, Bev. You did great.
Thank you.
This is EarzUp podcast, and we have like I said, we have a cool show for you. Bev is actually going to talk about Iwerks.
Ub.
Yeah, but I think it's Ub is short for Ubert.
Maybe.
I'm just kidding. I have no idea. Iwerks.
His middle name is like Ert or something.
Serious. Ubert. His parents did not like him.
E-E-R-T.
Yeah,
It's U-B-E-E-R-T, Iwerks.
Do you have his dad's name? I bet it's like Bill or Fred or something.
His dad's name is Ert, E-E-R-T.
Get out of town!
Ubben, Iwerks.
Oven?
U-B-B-E-N.
U-B-B-N.
What? Where are they from?
Palmdale.
On the border of Germany and the Netherlands.
Okay.
Well, that makes sense.
Okay. All right, this is the... Okay, I'm done with my presentation.
Hey, man! All right, back to the show.
It's pronounced Ub.
Okay, Iwerks. So she's going to talk about Iwerks, and then we're going to hear from Taryn about a Main Street window review. We're also going to talk a little bit about our trip. We were supposed to talk about that in the last show, but I forgot. I didn't read my notes properly, and it's all my fault. But first... Find us on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, all that kind of stuff. You already know because, you're listening to us. Find us on social media. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're also on, what are we on? Pinterest. Let me put that in my notes so I don't forget anymore. If you have feedback on the show, Taryn is very receptive to feedback.
Too soon.
Yeah, listen to our last show, and Taryn went off. No. Taryn at EarzUp-podcast.com. Any compliments or whatever you want to send, if you have any Golden Girls merchandise for sale.
Oh, my goodness. Yes.
It goes to Terrence at EarzUp-podcast.com. You can say hi to Bev, and anything else comes to me, Jason, at EarzUp-podcast.com. We also have a blog on our website, which is EarzUp-podcast.com, that we attend to from time to time. We have our Disney Animated Classics review. Terrence did Bambi. Who's next, and what is the next movie?
I was going to ask that same question.
Let's find out.
What's the next movie?
Here, hold on. Give me...
Literally just
talk
ask
amongst
that.
Yourselves. Talk amongst yourselves.
Talk.
You go.
I saw
God.
a shirt that I was going to buy for you, Terrence, but it was a women's shirt, and I didn't think that would work out so well, but it said, "In a world of Kardashians, stay golden."
Yes, I saw that shirt. I saw another one that has the picture of all the Golden Girls in like a diamond, and it looks like the Queen album from
I saw that
Bohemian
too.
Rhapsody. And it just says Queens underneath.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Why aren't you
That's
buying
amazing.
these shirts?
Because I'm broke. And then also there's another. And what I really want is they have a Lego set.
Tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want.
Oh, this
I want a
is
Lego. I want a Lego. Sorry.
It's a Lego set of the Golden Girls house. So it has.
I've seen that.
The
It's like
kitchen, the
$200
lanai,
or something
all of that.
crazy.
Yeah, I know. I still want it. I
Yeah.
still want that. So, and the next movie is Saludos Amigos.
God, can we find that? I wonder.
Who
wants to try to find that?
If we wait until September, it's going to be on Netflix.
Wait, was that? Hold on. Was that one that was released in theaters? We're only doing those.
Yes, it is. It's a theatrical release. But
What is it the one with the...
it's Donald,
Donald Duck and
with the hats. Yes.
Yeah.
But it's going to...
If they have it in the...
We're on the same wavelength right now. We're snapping at each other and talking.
They have it at the... It's...
I feel like your channels are mixed.
I have no idea
We're
what's
sharing
happening.
a quarter of a brain.
I feel like you guys are doing Mad Libs with each other.
But it's gonna, and I think September 1, Netflix starts streaming all the Disney movies.
I thought that was a hoax.
No, it's not.
No, it's not a hoax.
It's not like the moon landing. It's not a hoax.
That's like the third time we've said that on the show. I really believe I was in the studio. I'm just saying. Anyway.
Dude, no, you don't.
No, I don't.
Okay, I was going to say.
Yeah, but Saludos Amigos is the next one.
The Earth is flat. Let's just be clear on that.
It is.
All right, let's agree on that. Okay, so who wants to do it? Beverly, all right. Good job, Bev. Thanks for
Good
volunteering.
job, Bev. Thank you.
If you like radio like this, and I don't know why you wouldn't, you can support us via our Amazon link. Go to our homepage right now and find the Amazon link on the right-hand side or whatever. Maybe I'm dyslexic. I don't know. And anyway, click on that. Make that your Amazon homepage. It really does help us out kind of a lot, actually, a lot more than I thought it would. And so a lot of you guys are doing your shopping, doing your best to drive the wheels of the economy forward, and we appreciate that via us. And you of course don't pay any extra. We get a little cut from Amazon. It's really cool. You can also become a donor, either a recurring donor or offer us a one-time donation, $1 a show. I had someone throw us $68 the other day.
Nice.
Because at that point we had 68 shows. And he goes, $1 a show. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. I think it's really cool. And then I was able to actually pay the upkeep on the servers. So that's cool. You can also buy Cov Ears. Go to getcovears.com and learn more about Cov Ears. You can support our friends. Go to EarzUp-podcast.com. In the About Us section, we have a page called Friends of EarzUp, and these are all the people that have been really nice to us. Jeremy at Spectral Radio, our friend Push, our friend Lulu, Gumshoe, all that kind of stuff. And they all have wares. So peruse the wares and buy some stuff, man. Taryn, you want to talk about our trip to Disneyland last week?
You scared me, because whenever you say that, I think I'm supposed to have something ready, and I was like, oh no!
Taryn, it's your turn to talk about.
Here, I have it all right now for you. Go for it.
Too soon.
It was a pretty quick trip.
It was a quick trip. We were there for like a day. Maybe a day
during
and a
the
half.
summer, which we don't do.
Which we never do, but I was down there, we were down there for the Liverpool-Chelsea game at the Rose Bowl, which was really fun to go see.
Match?
The match was kind of... It was okay. It was cool to experience because it's an EPL team, and they'll probably never come over here.
Right.
It was an international friendly, so whatever.
Right.
And they played a bunch of their subs. Both teams did.
Of course, yeah.
Liverpool lost, but it was cool. It was cool. We were kind of 18 rows up from center, right? So we got pretty good seats. It was cool to go in and like sing and like do the whole sing the thing. But bought a scarf, you hold it up, and it was funny because everyone singing the songs suddenly dons an English accent.
Yo, what's up, dog? I'm about to start singing.
Yeah,
and
it's like, I don't know. It's like, you'll never walk alone. It's like, wow, really, guys? Anyway, so it was cool. It was a great experience. It just, team lost, so whatever.
Well, and I don't know. The game itself was kind of boring.
It's soccer.
Are you a soccer fan?
Well, no.
Oh, well then, okay.
But I'm a hockey fan, and I honestly thought it would be pretty similar.
No.
Well,
no, I know that now.
No, they kind of are. I mean, the soccer field is the size of a football field, right? Including the end zones. Hockey is very much smaller, but it's similar strategies.
Yeah.
You're passing the ball and trying to score the thing, right? So
they're not the same at all.
It's not the same.
I find it very similar, but what I thought was interesting was seeing it from that angle. The field looks much smaller than it does, and but on TV you have the proper angle, and so you're like, how did he not see the guy? How can he not pass? He was totally open, but sitting there, I'm like, I don't know how they can pass.
Right.
It was much more. I don't know, delicate or intricate of a game. It was totally mind blowing. It literally blew my mind. I had to go pick it up. It was like 3 rows back. Anyway, so then we went to Disneyland. We got to ride the new Soarin' over the world.
Oh, nice!
It was awesome. It was so cool.
It was cool.
I have to say, and I was thinking about you the whole time, Terrence, because I know that you hate that ride, like with a passion.
Yes,
but I honestly think that you're going to like this one. That was the first thing I said when I got off the ride. I looked at Jason. I was like, I think Terrence is actually going to like this.
So I watched the POV video of it
you
on
ruined
YouTube.
it.
You're big on those.
I am.
You love those.
Oh, I am. And
He has to do something at work.
that's true. That is actually true.
Yeah.
Life of a manager. I thought it was going to be amazing. I just watching it like that without actually being there, I was really getting drawn into it. So yeah,
it was cool. So here I have a couple gripes, of course, because it wouldn't be me without it.
That's true.
Some of the CGI was kind of weird. Like you can tell the Taj Mahal wasn't real.
Okay.
Right, and then like the polar bears in the thing as an ice float. I don't know. It's like, okay, this is a little cheesy.
Right.
Spoiler alert.
It's fine. But also we were off center. So if you see it, try to go center, because if you sit off center, a lot of the tall things, like the Eiffel Tower, were just wonked out. It looked like a 45 degree. It looked like the capital letter C.
Yeah.
It was like so out of form. It was wonked out, and I was like, this is. I don't know. I mean, I understand you. You mean, you have limitations to what you can do. But if it's not going to look good, then don't do it.
It's a super concave screen. though,
Yeah,
right?
But I don't
So, yeah.
remember any of these on the last one.
Well,
So
'cause I don't think they did anything that was like straight.
Right.
And
no,
high.
You're right.
It was like trees, but it was all.
But they're
low.
all small.
Yeah, but
trees.
they were
Yeah,
all
a lot of
low.
sky.
and
gone
I think they did it on
yeah.
purpose. So they had the Eiffel Tower, and then they had I forget
There was something else that was really
in
tall.
the
a
national
building or
monument,
something.
like in the Southwest, like a lot of the big tall like pillars of rock. They were just bent out of shape, and I was like, "This is
It's a little silly.
weird."
Yeah.
Kind of takes you out of it, but it was really cool. I highly recommend it. Fast pass it. Don't wait in the line.
No,
That's
no.
Oh, I
ridiculous.
never would. Yeah.
And then based on a couple shows ago, we were talking about the Tower of Terror and the Guardians of the Galaxy replacing Tower of Terror, right? All that kind of nonsense.
Right.
So I decided we took a walk past the ride to check on the ride times, on the wait times.
Right.
Because in my opinion, and granted, I don't get paid nearly as much as Imagineer or have a job, but if you're going to overview a ride, if you're going to lay over a ride, I would think it would be a ride that has subpar attendance.
Yes. I
Tower of
agree.
Terror is 55 minutes on a Thursday.
It's been shooting up to 75 to 85
But
after
do you think
that as
that's
well.
people trying to get on it
No.
before they change it?
I don't.
Because
Well,
I've
I
been there a
can't
couple
say.
times and the wait's been like 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, but that was like in the winter, right?
I think it's a combination of the two.
Yeah.
I think it's a popular ride anyway, but I think that people are like, man, I'm not going to be back here for another year. I got to
they're
go
gonna make
on
it
it
terrible.
one last
And they're
time.
going to be gone.
Honestly, I don't know if it's going to be terrible.
I don't
The
think
only-
it'll be a terrible
Okay.
ride, but I think it's a terrible idea.
I
I
take
think it's a
that back.
terrible idea,
Yeah.
but I don't think it'll be a terrible ride.
It's gonna be the same ride.
It'll be the same. That's such a good queue and it's such a good ride
Yeah.
as it is. It didn't need to be changed. So I think changing it's just going to make my husband hate Disneyland more.
Is that possible?
Meh.
All right.
Question.
We'll find out in about 2 years or whatever. I don't know. So that's what's going on in DCA. The other exciting thing that happens in DCA is, and I've talked about it before, they have the multiple flavored popcorns at the Cozy Cone. You can get them all at the same time now. Finally, there's like 6 flavors,
Right.
and you can get them all at the same time. So they finally listened to me. Thank you, Disney gods, for listening to the show. No, they're just like they have the flavorings, and then
Right.
they scoop your popcorn in a little thing, sprinkle some flavorings, and shake it, and go, here's your sriracha flavor or bacon or whatever it was.
What do you mean you can get them all at the same time now?
You can, so they just make the popcorn and they
Right.
have the flavoring because before it
Oh,
was
okay, I know
it
what
was
you're
everything
saying.
was pre-mixed or whatever it was,
Right,
and they go,
right.
so you can only get dill pickle this week, and then next week is the exotic butter flavor.
But now they have the flavorings. They have the that makes
They
sense.
have like buffalo
There's a
wings,
lot.
But we did
sriracha.
that. And the dill that we got was terrible.
Really?
It didn't taste the same. Like they put so much flavor on it that it just tasted like dill salt.
All the flavors.
That doesn't sound bad to me, actually.
Dalt.
Yeah, it sounds
Adult.
kind of good.
No, it was not good. It
I
was
like
I
dill
think your
pickles.
taste
Sounds
buds
good.
were off when you were there because you also didn't like Trader Sam's.
it was straight up rum.
You're acting like that's a bad thing.
I like rum
Says the
but
girl who
with
drinks scotch now.
other
Right, exactly.
flavors.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, I'm just saying
no,
when I order
it
a,
wasn't scotch, it was rum.
when I
Yeah,
order a
exactly.
mixed drink, I'd like to taste something that it's mixed with. If I wanted just rum,
It
I'd
was
go
mixed with
for
ice.
what I bought that drink for.
The dark
I
rum
could have
was
bought
mixed
a
with light
bottle
rum.
of rum.
Exactly.
That's true. Anyway, we walked by the new Luigi's Nightmare ride.
Have you been on that ride yet?
We no, so we
No.
thought about going on. But we're like, we'll come back, and then we just never did because we hung out at Trader Sam's. Oddly enough,
Okay.
literally nobody on that ride. We watched for 30 seconds was smiling. Nobody was smiling.
Man, so I'm.
Has anybody else? Have you guys ridden the ride? You've ridden the ride. What do you think about it? Carrie, what do you think
this
about
on?
it? Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I went on it and we walked right on it, and so we figured we'd do it. But I thought it was okay. I mean, I don't really need to do it again anytime soon, but like I enjoyed it. Like it's interesting because I observed the same thing as you. Like no one's smiling.
No one looked happy.
It's almost more fun to watch people because I had fun. Like my sister and I were on it. We're like, woo! We're sliding around,
And everyone else is looking at you
it's
guys like,
kinda
who are these
Mater's,
people?
Like where you're kind of like sliding around, and it's fun, and because it is more interesting to watch because you can see the choreography happening.
Yeah.
But when you're on it, you're just like, something's happening. I'm turning.
It doesn't make a whole
What is this?
doesn't make a whole lot of sense why
But
you're
yeah,
doing it.
I mean,
Right.
it was fine. Like I wanted to do it, and we did it. So
so better as
don't
a
need
show.
to do it again anytime
better
soon.
as a show.
Better
Right.
as a show.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that was it. I think
That was it. One thing that I did observe, though, we don't go during the summer because it's terrible and it's hot and all that. And
Uh-huh.
It was really, really hot, but I don't think it was overly crowded. I didn't get that sense. Like the
No,
rides
I don't
weren't
think so either.
like they weren't crazy long like I thought it was going to be. It was like 25, 30 minutes for the major rides. I thought it was actually pretty all right. I was surprised.
Yeah, I agree. The thing I did find odd, though, is they canceled the fireworks for that night.
That's right.
But they still closed down Fantasyland for 45 minutes.
Yeah, they told us like
It's really weird.
That is
They're like, we can't
Yeah.
go through. And like, well, sorry, guys. The moose says we're closed. No. We couldn't get through. And then there was a line queuing up to get back into Fantasyland, which I'm assuming was all going to Peter Pan.
right.
It was strange. We were on the teacups, which, whatever. And then the projection started on Small World and the music played. And then that was it. And then, like, the spotlights on the castle kind of were just there. You know how they stick afterwards, right? It was just, I thought the whole thing was strange. And I'm assuming it's because they hired all these people and then maybe they canceled them last minute. So they just did everything that they were supposed to do anyway. Because if you have a well-oiled machine to, like, throw the schedule out of whack, that might screw things up even more. Although I can't understand how it wouldn't. Anyway, I thought it was weird. It kind of was like, well, now here's a whole segment, literally, of the park that's closed down again,
for no reason,
and now we can't get through, so you can't get around Big Thunder Ranch to go. We were going to go to Haunted Mansion,
Right.
so we had to go all the way around all the way around the Matterhorn, and then there was the parade or something like that. So it was a giant crowd, and it took us 15 minutes to get around, but. For no reason.
Yeah.
It was just, I don't know.
Strange.
Uncomfortable. Taryn, feedback. Do it.
Okay. All right.
Dear Taryn.
No, it's not.
You're stupid.
Dear idiot.
I'll just say it's not as dramatic this time. The first one's from Courtney. Courtney. Hey guys, I just wanted to say that I love your show. You guys are so entertaining and definitely help scratch that Disney itch. I loved listening to your music of Disneyland.
I'm scratching.
Your Disney itch?
Yeah.
Okay. I loved listening to your music of Disneyland. Talk about a throwback. And couldn't help but to shout out my guesses pretty loudly at work while listening. I would love it if you guys did another
Courtney,
one.
there's a patient on the table. Could you please not scream Matterhorn in her cavities? Thank you. Because she's cut open, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I would love it if you guys did another one. The music Disney plays is one of my favorite things about the park because it does play such a big part of that Disney magic that a lot of people do not notice. Thank you for all you do and keep up the awesome work.
I like how she didn't conjugate that. It was do not. I don't know.
Anyway, next
I
one.
pick out weird stuff. I don't know.
do.
Sometimes it reminds me of Henry Standing Bear from Longmire, where he just doesn't conjugate anything.
Oh yeah,
I do
I
not.
love the way he
I
talks.
do not think so. Anyway,
I love the way he talks.
Sorry.
Next one is from Brian.
Hello, Brian. I don't have anything funny to say about your name yet.
Hey guys, I love the show, even if I get behind in the archive sometimes.
Yes.
It always makes me want to go to Disneyland. I love Disneyland, but I had a genius.
Do you like Disneyland? I love Disneyland. Anyway, one day.
I love Disneyland, but I had
I'm sure you didn't write this.
No, I think it's the way I read them. Sometimes I like to mess with like the punctuation because I think it's funnier. Anyway.
What are you, Christopher Walken? I love Disneyland. I want to be in. That's more William Shatner. Go ahead, please. God, Taryn, jeez.
I love Disneyland, but I had a genius idea the other day on how to make it even better.
Blow it up.
Start all over.
Okay.
Yeah, call it the moon.
It occurred to me.
It's a
Yeah, I
crater.
lost my spot.
It occurred.
It occurred to me while I was listening to your discussion of the new Luigi ride a few
Yes.
months ago.
Yes.
Autopia. Everybody hates Autopia. It stinks and the line stinks. It
Yeah.
takes up a huge amount of real estate in Tomorrowland. The only reason to have it is that little kids like to pretend to drive. I emphasize pretend. That center rail that keeps the car from veering more than an inch off center is obvious even to small children, and it creates that constant banging inside of the car that makes the ride even more obnoxious. So what to do? Where does Autopia belong in 2016? Disneyland? Not in Disneyland at all, but in DCA. There's a Cars Land right there. This is like Brian's things.
Brian stinks.
Cars belong in Cars Land. You can still call Autopia the same thing. I would for historical purposes. They wouldn't have to theme
Historical purposes.
They wouldn't have to theme the cars like in Cars, but they could. As part of the movie, I would reimagine the vehicles and how the ride is laid out. It gets good. Make the vehicles electric and more 21st century. Tesla has a boatload of money. Approach them for a sponsorship and possibly even get them to make the vehicles. Instead of the center rail, use the sensor in front of the vehicle underneath and paint a couple lines a couple feet apart.
Yeah, because technology in Disneyland is world-renowned for working all the time.
Right.
It would be a virtual center rail where the car could actually veer left and right a couple feet until the center detects... a couple feet. Anyway, he goes on. Collision detection would be super
Until
easy.
people in the submarine ride are looking at you.
No, this is in DCA.
It's in DCA now.
Collision detection would be super easy in this environment and would overcome the bumper cars aspect of the current Autopia.
Is this Brian Shaw?
It totally might be. I don't know if it is. It just said Brian. Anyway,
It sounds like Brian Shaw.
It does sound like Brian
It does
Shaw.
sound a little bit like Brian.
Over-engineered.
Yes.
Anyways, he goes on and he says, or just replace Bugs Land with this. The gaping hole in Tomorrowland can be filled with something else. Of course, Tomorrowland as a whole, except for Hyperspace Mountain, needs to be closed for 2 to 3 years, completely gutted and reimagined. Thanks for all the awesome entertainment, and I'll see you in the parks, Brian. I thought it was kind of a creative idea.
So here's
Sure.
the thing.
There's some loopholes.
I enjoy the center rail simply because I don't steer when I drive the Autopia cars.
You just sit there?
let
Are
them do their
you that person?
I am that person.
jeez.
Oh gosh.
No, I've only ridden Autopia twice in my life.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Thank God. And I was so irritated halfway through the first time that I just stopped driving.
I think I was...
forget this place.
Yeah.
Forget this ride. I quit.
She done.
She done.
Terrible.
Just get up and walk off.
You don't have a Terrence Thinks, do you?
No.
That's
Sorry.
too bad. I wish you did.
Sorry.
We just had Brian's things.
But yeah, that was Brian's things.
Brian.
The next one is... We have more feedback.
Oh, the next one is we have more. Okay, go ahead.
The next one's from Wesley.
Wesley, it's my cat.
I don't think it's from our cat, though.
Is he a big man? Is he a nice guy?
He's not.
Is he a good boy? So I talk to my cat. Wesley, it's a nice guy. Yeah, you're a good boy.
He
And he goes, meow.
I've heard it.
Go ahead, Taryn.
Okay.
Jeez, stop.
EarzUp team. Great show this week.
Longest feedback ever.
Really enjoyed the armchair Imagineering, especially the great moments with Mr. Lincoln concept. Yes.
I will clap for myself. I don't care.
That's good.
It was fantastic.
I've spent a lot of time thinking about...
Wait, hold on.
Okay.
It was the Abraham Lincoln vampire hunter.
Killer.
You're
No,
right.
you tell me you wouldn't go see that.
I wouldn't go see that.
You're kidding me.
The movie was
It's not a movie.
I also...
If I
it
ran
is a
out-
movie.
It's no.
Abraham Lincoln vampire
What
hunter.
I'm talking about the
Right, you've seen it, Taylor.
The reimagineering wouldn't be a movie. It'd be like it's tough to be a bug. You'd be part of the whole thing. It'd be amazing.
What do you get?
Amazing.
Part of the whole
Amazing.
thing.
Turn
Back
his
time.
microphone off.
If I could
No.
Turn the beat around.
find a way. Go
I was
ahead.
turning the beat around.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Percussion.
Jeez.
He likes the great moments with Mr. Lincoln concept. I spent a lot of time thinking about Tomorrowland specifically. You might be interested in checking out my site, savetomorrowland.com.
Oh.
Thanks again for the great show. Always looking forward to your podcast, Best Wesley. So I actually did look at the website, and it's essentially a really in-depth look into Tomorrowland and with some theories and solutions to some of the issues that it has now, and how it essentially isn't really a land that is the land of tomorrow anymore.
No,
But-
it's the land of yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, but it's a whole entire website dedicated to this and lots of theories, and I don't know, it's kind of neat.
It's laid out like an insane person.
That's
There's
not
like an
nice.
intro, and then
Jason.
it's like there's the issues, and everything's bullet pointed. I didn't mean that in a bad way. I just meant like if you're
He's
gonna
a very thorough,
It's
organized
very
type
thorough.
A
Yes.
person.
totally.
Yes.
That's what I meant. Insane person.
The
exact opposite of you?
Lack of shade. Yes, totally agree. Lack of meaningful water features. Yes. Show buildings in plain sight.
That
Yes.
is a great point. That's a really good point.
Access from the hub past Matterhorn is underutilized. It's great. I agree. The problem, were you going to say this? The problem is that, the people who go to the parks or take their kids to the parks now want that sense of nostalgia when they hit the parks in
I
the
agree.
60s, 70s, and 80s, or 90s now.
Exactly.
So you can't really change it. I mean, some of these concepts are cool, but there's no way literally no way you could do this. Because there would be such an outcry.
You would have to make another
uproar.
land and
Uproar.
and call it Futureland or some crap.
There's no way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's great.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool website. You should check it out. SaveTomorrowland.com.
Wow, this is insane.
I'm going to move on to the next one.
Do it, please.
The next one is from Angela.
Angela.
Hi, guys. I just discovered your show a few weeks ago, and I can't go a day without listening. I used to be an annual pass holder with my mom. We scored the SoCal passport when it was still available, but after they discontinued it, my mother moved out of state, we canceled them, and little pieces of us died. Aww. Thank goodness for your show. It fills the void that my lack of visits to the park has created. The first show I heard was the 23 Things in Disney You May Have Missed. Being a self-appointed Disney fanatic, a lot of the facts I already knew. But you guys did teach me a lot, which is a rare occurrence. Thanks for the great show and keep making great podcasts. Listening to Disney rides that never were right now. My mother, a craft brew lover, loves your talks with Mouse Brew.
Oh, cool.
Maybe soon we should have an episode about the stables of Disneyland. Lots of people don't think about the horses that pull the trolleys, and also the former occupants of the Frontierland before Star Wars took residence. That's one aspect of the park that I don't know much about. Love you guys. Or no, she says, love your show, guys.
You could have just.
She wrote "love you guys" and then crossed through it. I just love the show.
Love you guys, Grandma.
Where's my $5 check?
That was all. And that's it for feedback.
All right.
This time.
Good job, mostly, Taryn. You did great.
That was fun.
All right, Bev.
All right.
Iwerks.
No.
Who is Ubert?
No, I guess it is Ubert, isn't it?
Is it really? I have no idea.
It'll be Ubert.
It's Ub.
Yeah.
EERT. Iwerks. Ubert. That's terrible. I'm sorry, Ub. Pronounced Ub Iwerks. So the first time I ever heard about Ub Iwerks was from watching an episode of Drunk History.
Okay.
But it's a great show. But I actually found his story so interesting that I wanted to know more about him. And I don't know if I haven't done a lot of research, but I don't get the impression that Drunk History is the best place to get your facts.
Weird.
Probably not.
Better than Wikipedia, but go on.
It's like going to
Perhaps.
BuzzFeed and getting your.
It might be the same. They might just memorize Wikipedia and then get trashed and tell the story. I don't know. But anyway, Ub was born on January. I had to count because I didn't know what 3 was. March 24th, not 2001, 1901.
He is 15 years old, but already an amazing asset to the Disney company.
Kansas City,
left
Missouri. So I had a hard time finding out things about his childhood because he didn't talk about it. Turns out his father, whose name, this is fun, whose name is Euben Iwerks, which is basically Ub's name backwards.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
So Ub.
Iwerks.
Okay.
His father is Ubben, Ubben, Iwerks.
What's your middle name, Jason?
Nicholas.
Okay, it would be like
Nicholas?
Jason Nicholas naming his kid Nicholas Jason.
I might do that. I won't do that. I won't do that.
No.
All right. Okay, so his father was from a place right on the border of Germany and the Netherlands, which maybe explains that name situation. And was married to a woman named Deborah Pierce. After he immigrated,
Boring name. we should Iwerksify her name.
Let's not. In 1880, he immigrated to Iowa. Unfortunately, he was a bit of a philanderer.
What does that mean?
Well,
Like philanthropist? Like he was handing out money and...
no, that's not what that means.
Sure.
No.
He soon abandoned her.
For someone with more vowels in her name.
And wed Laura
Or
Wagner.
more consonants in her name.
Who had Laura Wagner. I'm sorry. He married Laura Wagner, who had Ub on the 24th, 1901.
Okay.
At the time, she was 26. He was 57.
Attaboy.
Wow.
Attaboy.
In 1914, history repeated itself, and Ub's father...
And Ub was born again.
No.
It was
That's how he was born in 2001, yes.
But his father...
If I could turn back time.
Guys, this is the serious part of the thing.
No way.
His father left his wife and Ub. So at this point, the responsibility of being the man of the house sort of fell on Ub, and he had to drop out of school and get a job to support his family. Well, just his mom, because he's an only child. After trying a few things like working on a farm and other jobs that required manual labor, he took his job search in a different direction and eventually ended up at the Pressman Rubin Art Studio in Kansas City. This is where he met Walt Disney in 1919. After an unsuccessful attempt to go into business for themselves in 1920, they found themselves working at the Kansas City Film Ad Company, which produced animated advertisements for local movie theaters. So,
Is she stuck? You want to hit her?
I'm not stuck. I'm just thinking of how to say.
Terrence, get the hammer.
Stop it. So, the thing that worked out really well with Walt
Sorry,
and
we'll
Ub.
fix this in editing.
God, stop talking.
Okay, go ahead. Go
Looking
ahead.
at your face.
Go ahead.
That didn't come close to your face. Whatever.
It's okay.
They
You're doing
complimented.
great.
I know I'm doing great, but he sucks.
Go ahead.
They complimented each other really well. Ub was phenomenally fat.
I literally don't know what that sentence could possibly be.
Predominantly flat.
Fatted fat.
You know, as I wrote this sentence, I thought, this is going to be hard to say. Ub was a phenomenally fast and flexible artist.
There we go.
Walt was a creative visionary and had a talent for salesmanship.
Okay.
So for everything that I could find on the internets and the documentaries and books, Ub and Walt were essentially BFFs.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like the idea of early Walt having a BFF.
It was totally his BFF. Walt often referred to Ub as the greatest animator in the world.
Nice.
Oh, that's nice.
When,
Yeah, but at the time, animation was like 4 years old. So, of course he was, right? Sorry, did I just totally nag him?
Yeah.
You nagged him.
You're the greatest animator of our generation.
ladies and gentlemen,
It's been
I
a
just
technology
want to
for 6
apologize
months.
for this segment.
So I'm sorry. I'll try to control myself.
You're fine.
All right.
When
Thank
the
you.
distributor and I didn't really dive too much into this because most of it's known and a lot of it doesn't have a lot to do with Ub, so I didn't want to derail myself too much. But basically, when the distributor of Oswald the Lucky Rabbit cartoon series basically raided the Disney staff in 1927, at this point, every other animator that worked for Walt basically jumped ship and worked for the other company. The only person who stayed by him was Ub.
Yeah.
So they were both out of a job, out of money. They had to start over from scratch. At Walt's request, Ub began creating new characters. A female cow and a male horse were created at this time, but they were eventually rejected. They would later turn up as Clarabelle the cow and Horace Horsecollar.
Yeah.
But this sort of rapid-fire creativity is what led to Mickey Mouse being created.
Okay.
And I read a lot of different things about how Walt came up with Mickey Mouse on a train ride and some other things. But from what I could tell, what actually happened is Ub came up with Mickey Mouse. He drew the first crude sketch, and then Walt took it home, and they gave him some name. I don't remember what it
Mortimer
was.
Mouse, I think is what it was.
And then
Yeah.
Lillian was like, no, it should be Mickey.
All
So
Yeah.
Mickey was created by Ub and Lillian.
Pretty much.
Basically,
But
yeah.
just touched up by Walter.
Fine-tuned,
Yeah.
but Walt was like,
Yeah.
let's just dust this off right here.
Yeah.
And then I'll take credit for it.
He's a good manager.
Right?
Right. My team did this.
I read from more than one source that Ub was often referred to as a workhorse. He would sometimes draw over 700 images in one day. Can you imagine that?
Wow. I can't even
I barely-
write 700 words
I was
in a
just
day.
going to say, like, typing this out, I was like, quit.
Well, I have a new project for work tomorrow.
Hashtag bye, Felicia.
Draw 700 things.
700
stick
doodles.
figures. Yeah. The first few Mickey Mouse series.
Huh?
How do you
Series.
pluralize that? What?
The first few series.
Yeah.
You don't pluralize that?
No, few and then series. It would be
Yeah,
singular.
just series. Yeah.
I like Siri. We're animated
It's
entire
pronounced Siri, but go on.
Siri.
I
What's
hope your
wrong
phones
with me?
go, yes, how can I help you?
goodness.
They were animated entirely by UB. So that's
Nice.
Crazy Planes, Gallopin' Gaucho, and Steamboat Willie, all done entirely by UB.
Nice.
In fact, he was the main animator for every Disney short released from 1928 to 1929. In 1929, UB and Walt had a little bit of a falling out.
Uh-oh.
What?
It happens.
Frenemies?
Frenemies.
Oh.
I'm on Walt's side.
Team Walt.
Team Walt.
You're a jerk. So apparently, UB's style of animation was very different from Walt's. And if you look back at some of his original work, you can see that it has this sort of flowing, almost circular rhythm, like in the movements, like they kind of just flow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know how to describe it better than that. Where Walt was much more of a fan to have characters hit their poses and strong keyframes where they would hold a position for an extra frame to sort of emphasize a point, which both the flowing and the stopping technique, they're both very valid techniques, but they're very different. And Disney was a little bit of a micromanager, and he's like, well, why don't you change this, and why don't you do that? And apparently after however many years, I was not a fan of somebody looking over his shoulder being like, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that?
Right.
So there was a little bit of friction. And when he got the offer to leave Disney to open his own studio, he took it. Walt took that very personally.
I would too.
I'm sure it didn't help that that UB accepted the contract with one of Disney's competitors, Pat Powers. When Roy Disney asked why he was leaving, he said it was because of personal differences with Walt. When he left, it severed their friendship and working partnership.
Well, yeah, of course. That's going to kill a friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Disney was like, bye. You done.
Bye.
Bye. The Iwerks studio opened in 1930. Despite a contract with MGM to distribute his cartoons and the introduction of a new character named Flip the Frog and later Willy Whopper, the Iwerks studio was never a major commercial success. Have you ever heard of either of those?
No. They
Me
like
either.
alliteration, though, for sure.
Flip the
For
frog and
sure.
Willy
Flip the
Whopper.
Frog and Willy Whopper. Mornings on Hot 101 FM.
So it was never really a major commercial success, and it certainly failed to rival any of Disney's success. And I found a couple different quote-unquote reasons as to why, or speculations as to why it was never a success. One was that Walt, Roy, and UB needed each other to be successful, or rather, to start a company and be successful.
Yeah, valid.
When Iwerks left Disney, Disney didn't go out of business, but they certainly struggled for a little bit before they got back on their feet. And somebody broke it down, and what they mean by this is that Walt had imagination, Roy had financial knowledge, because Walt sure didn't,
Right.
and UB had talent and drive. And you kind of need all of those aspects to be successful.
Totally.
Another reason, and this is a direct quote from UB's granddaughter, who wrote the book, The Hand Behind the Mouse, which is a great book, and it's a documentary that you can buy on Amazon. Plug. Shameless plug. Go through the EarzUp.
There you
Link.
go. There you go.
That a girl? All right.
Yeah.
She's learning. That's good.
I learn. There were no real rules in an UB Iwerks cartoon. Anything could happen. Things would come alive whenever they felt like it. Also, they were pretty racy. He would always incorporate a more adult-type humor in his cartoons so that they would appeal to the adults in the audience as well as the kids. He would sometimes have innuendos, as well as Taryn, as well as racial stereotype jokes. In one cartoon, sorry,
Terrence.
it's in there. It's a quote. I have to say it.
It was 1930.
I know.
I mean, come on.
It was prevalent at the time. I mean, what? Yeah.
Yeah.
In one cartoon, St. Peter flips the bird. All of these things are things that would never happen in a Walt Disney cartoon.
Right.
Which is fun. I'm sorry to cut you, but
It's okay.
it's funny because what makes Pixar movies so great right now? It's, I mean,
Is there adult?
yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
I meant the racial stuff. Kidding. It's a joke.
Turn your own microphone off.
Yeah.
I refuse.
And some people say that the cartoons just lacked Walt Disney's story sense. I personally, this is me speculating,
Yeah.
think that his lack of success might have had something to do with the fact that he was being paid $7,000 per cartoon by his distributor, but the distributor was making around $100,000 per cartoon.
Wow.
Jeez.
Rude.
Wow.
Wow. In 1930,
Yeah.
making
Wow.
100 G's.
That's like $4 billion today.
That's like, right?
It's like $180 billion.
Yes, that's a lot of money.
Did you just make that up?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
You could build like 14 White Houses with that.
Whatever the reason, in 1936, the Iwerks studio closed their doors. And in 1937, produced 4 Looney Tunes shorts starring Porky Pig and Gabby Goat. He also directed the first 2 shorts. He then went on to do some work for Screen Gems, where he was the director of several of the Color Rhapsody shorts. Have you ever heard of those?
Mm-mm.
Me either.
No.
These are all things we should check out. Or not.
These are things that Disney should be re-releasing.
Yeah.
They all
Absolutely.
have been re-released, but these
Oh,
aren't
great.
these aren't Disney. These were with Screen Gems, Columbia Pictures. I don't think Disney owns that, do they?
These are all things Disney should buy and re-release.
Oh, well, okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
There is a light at the end of this tunnel, Taryn.
Oh, good.
Ub returned back to work for Disney in 1940.
That's good.
That means that he and Disney were separated for more than 10 years.
They were frenemies for 10 years, and then they became friends
And
again?
then they became friends,
Oh, good.
apparently.
That's nice. Oh, jeez.
Why are you breaking the studio?
Everything's
you
broken.
literally broke the support for the
Shut up.
microphone. What are you doing?
I don't know.
Okay.
There have been rumors that their relationship remained icy after
You're very
Ub.
comfortable right now.
I am. Stop it. There have been rumors that their relationship remained icy after Ub left in 1929, but
Yeah.
I don't think that's true.
Because you're just a really nice person, or
Because I want them to be friends and love each other. No. There's from a lot of places, a lot of different things that I read, including the hand behind the mouse. There's no way that Walt could have hired him back if he was really upset with him. John Kenworth, he was the co-author of The Hand Behind the Mouse, the biography written by his granddaughter.
Mm-hmm.
He's quoted as saying, "It was sort of like being old army buddies where you've gone through so much together, and no matter what happens after, you always have a special place in your heart for the guy who was in the trenches with you."
Yeah.
They went through a lot together getting the studio up and running. They went through bankruptcy together a couple times. They were, even when they were apart at separate studios, they watched what each other was doing, not just in a competitive way, but in a creative way. They had a great respect for one another. It was only natural that they would get back together. Of course, their relationship was now different. They were both older, they had families, but from the animators I've spoken to, there wasn't any animosity when Ub came back. When he came back in 1940, Walt gave him free rein to do whatever he wished. And I found it really funny when he came back to work for Disney, he did not come back as an animator.
What did he come back as?
He never animated for Disney ever again.
Oh, wow.
What did he do?
Janitor.
Upon his return, he mainly worked on developing special visual effects.
Okay.
He's credited as developing the process for combining live action and animation used in Song of the South.
Mary Poppins and
Mary
stuff
Poppins.
like that. Nice.
Yes, he actually won an Academy Award for his work in Mary Poppins, but I'll get to that. That's in another paragraph. He worked at WED, helping develop many Disney theme park additions during the 1960s. He also did some special effects work outside of Disney, including his Academy-nominated achievement for Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds.
Oh,
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I mean, I guess
That
at that
movie's so
point,
scary.
Walt had his pattern down. He had his style down.
Yeah.
Ub apparently didn't. Ub apparently didn't have that kind of
It wasn't his style. Yeah.
style. Yeah. So why would he? Why would he have him come in and disrupt everything?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's cool.
But yeah, he helped develop the sodium vapor process, which I
Oh,
had
yeah.
to look up. Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we all do. You didn't? You
I
had
did
to,
it.
You had to look it up.
I did it 4
Oh,
times.
jeez.
I know, right? Who is this? I did it 4 times before the show.
I will cut you.
Sodium vaporizing. I vape, bruh. You vape?
No.
No?
No.
I vape.
Hate you
Jason, no.
hate
Do
you
not do
so
that.
hard.
Sorry.
Occasionally,
Mango banana, bro.
just stop talking.
Oh my gosh.
Occasionally referred to as yellow screen. It is a photochemical film technique for combining actors and background footage. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
So pre-green screen kind of a thing?
I think so.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because
Sure.
green screen is all digital stuff.
Right.
That's why they put it on green, so you can take
that
it
makes
out.
sense then.
Yeah.
So specifically for live action animation combinations and traveling mats, he won an Oscar for utilizing this process
Right.
in Mary Poppins.
Nice.
He also adapted the Xerox process for animation, which eliminated the task of hand inking every cell. For Disneyland, he designed and developed the concepts for many of the park's main attractions, including the illusions in the Haunted Mansion, the animatronics for Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, and Pirates of the Caribbean.
Nice.
Besides being an animator, mechanic, and machinist,
Jeez.
yeah,
I know.
he was a well-rounded dude.
Yeah.
He also expanded his creative and intellectual pursuits through hobbies and sports. He was an avid challenge seeker, and he excelled at every single thing he attempted. I don't know if I would want to be his friend.
Right. Well, except friendship is the one thing he couldn't deal
Yeah,
with. Apparently.
he wasn't as good at that.
And I wonder if it's because think of how many distractions we have now: video games, television, all the kind of like stuff technology brings, all the
Right.
distraction technology brings. There's probably tons of people like this.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Just I'm great at everything because I have tons of time because I come home from work and I have nothing to do.
Right.
I'll read a book and that's it.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
it's a good point. Kind of sad.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, but I
when
like
he-
video games, so
well, yeah.
When he felt like he had mastered something and it was no longer a challenge to him, he quit. When
Quitter.
he bowled a perfect 300 games,
stop
What?
it. It's just,
You're making this
he
up
put his.
now.
This is the guy from
I
North
read
Korea.
this in more than one place. I fact checked. He put his bowling ball in the closet and never touched it again. When he took up archery,
Well, you can't get better than that, so I understand that.
yeah,
It's
but
like
one
gambling.
time.
One time and you're done?
Yeah.
Really?
One and done.
Well, because
300.
if you never get it again, then you've already peaked.
That's
you don't
like
want to think that
that's
you've
like when
peaked.
you're 6 and you're playing wall ball. Retired champion. That's it.
Yeah.
Retired champion. I can't do it.
That
used to
kid
do
is
that.
the smartest kid in the class.
Retired champion.
I haven't played
When
four
he-
square since I was 8. Ended in A square.
Retired champion.
Exactly.
When he took up archery, he became such a skilled archer that he got bored of getting bullseyes and he quit.
Oh my lord.
This guy,
Okay.
This
This
He's
is Kim
becoming a
Jong
little
Un. This
ridiculous.
is Kim Jong
I
Un.
actually don't want to know this guy. I would not want to know this guy.
I wouldn't want to know this guy either.
Yeah. Punk.
No,
Oh, geez.
you just need to be quiet.
I wonder how much of it is. Look, I'm not disparaging the guy, but if it were me, before the days of the internet, you could totally make up all this crap and tell your grandkids,
When he,
Oh,
went,
I
This
was so
does-
tired of getting bullseyes that I just gave up.
when he went to the moon in 1942.
This totally does
come
sound
on,
like
dude.
grandpa
Come on.
stories.
Come on. Grandpa,
Yeah.
really?
Actually, the moon was made of cheese, but only on the surface. And when I went up there, I removed all the cheese.
Yeah.
And I, started
Tillamook.
Tillamook. There you go.
Sorry.
Are we done?
No,
Probably not.
we are never done.
I hate you guys.
Continue, please. We're done.
He is the father of Disney legend Don Iwerks. So he kept it in the family.
Don. Can you? I wonder what his Don's grandfather was like. Oh, you're my kid, Don. How
What?
Let's add a consonant.
Don's grandfather. Oh, I get it.
Right. I need 12 consonants in your name, or you're not my grandson. I can't do this.
Even though this isn't a window segment, I wanted to mention that Ub has a window. While it's not in Disneyland, it's in Disney World on
Oh, really?
Disney World's Main Street. Yeah.
Okay.
He shares it with his son, Don.
As I like to call him, Boozgard.
There is a tribute to Ub in DCA on Buena Vista Street that says, "I work special."
Buena Vista.
Buena Vista.
God.
You couldn't just let her have it. You couldn't let her
I
have it.
saw the look, so I was trying to help.
Saying that wrong, and I was like, I'm just gonna go with it. I'm not gonna stumble over any more words.
I hate DCA, but I tell you what I do like. That government, I like that Buena
Buena
Vista.
Vista.
That Buena Vista Street is amazing.
I do declare.
That's the most amazing ever. They got the popcorn. They got the big pickle. It's amazing.
This show is a disaster.
I know. It really is.
I didn't want it to be. I'm sorry.
It's all good on Bunavasta Street. Buna. You can tell Beth's really laughing when she snorts.
Yeah.
That's like among all of our friends. Whenever we
Okay.
make jokes, if Bev snorts, that's like grabbing the golden ring on the carousel.
Okay.
That's like the achievement.
There
right?
is a tribute to in DCA on Buena Vista Street that says Iwerks special optometric process, and this is sort of an ode back to when he and Walt worked together. When the two had the studio together called Iwerks Disney, people would come in thinking it was an eye doctor's office.
Nice. I like that.
Ub passed away in 1971 of a heart attack. He was honored as a Disney legend in 1989, along with Walt's 9 old men, of which he is not one, but they just decided to lump them all together, I guess.
No,
Nice.
10 old men.
The end. Thank God.
You did great, Bev. You did great.
You guys suck.
Fantastic. You said it would be like
It was good.
20 minutes long. We made it 40.
Yeah, that was great.
good.
Oh, God.
It was lovely.
Speaking of lovely, Taryn, you have a window.
I do.
A Main Street window to talk about.
Good luck.
Yeah. This crowd is tough.
It's a tough crowd for sure. This should be pretty short.
The end.
Yes. This window is Jim Cora, C-O-R-A. Jim was hired in 1957 as a part-time attractions host at Disneyland. A while later, while working as the Matterhorn host, Walt asked him if he was interested in training. At the time, they were just kicking off the Disney University, and they were looking for 5 guys. Of course, Jim jumped at the chance. This led him to work in the Disney Administrative Building, and then a few years later, when he was working at Retlaw Enterprises, Jim became part of the opening team for Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room. In 1962, he graduated from Cal State Long Beach with a BA in English. Woot! And that was my major, too.
She just wooted.
Yeah, I woot.
Yeah.
Wooted. And he also attended a 2-year executive management program at USC. In 1971, Jim assisted with the opening of the Magic Kingdom Park, and he implemented the Disney Way of Leadership program, which is kind of huge. It's what has actually my company uses it. It's what a lot of companies use as kind of their base point for how you treat your employees, how you treat customers, and it's just like that whole foundation of what we all love about Disney.
He changed the company culture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He kind of set that in place and put like a list to it, or he made it a document.
Okay.
In 1974, he redesigned the Disneyland Park operating organization to the quote-unquote area concept.
Jesus, sounds boring.
Right. Becoming one of 3 production directors for the park, responsible for Fantasyland and Tomorrowland. So I was thinking about this, and so I started Googling, like, area concept Disneyland. Nothing comes up. But I was thinking about it a little bit more and kind of reading through it, and I think what they mean is that instead of having one person be sort of the manager of the park, they split it up into areas. So he managed Fantasyland and Tomorrowland to kind of, I think, have a little bit more eyes on the ground kind of thing. That's
that
what
makes
I think.
sense. A little more specialized.
Right.
Okay.
And then in 1979 marked a major turning point in his career when Jim became the managing director of operations for the Tokyo Disneyland project. He was responsible for all operational and management training for Tokyo Disneyland. Then, in preparation for the opening of Tokyo Disneyland, Jim was promoted to vice president of Walt Disney Productions Japan. He relocated to Japan and provided ongoing support and advice to Oriental Land Company, which is the owner and operator of Tokyo Disneyland.
Okay.
It is not Disney Company. He also oversaw Disney's operational and design standards. So he was the guy that was there making sure that it still looked like Disney, like Disneyland, even though Disney Corporation doesn't own that park.
Okay.
In 1983...
That's a cool job. It sounds like a cool job.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. In 1983, Jim returned to California and assumed the position of vice president of Disneyland International. In 85, Jim was responsible for negotiating the agreements, master planning, and site research for Disneyland Paris project, and was promoted to executive vice president and chief operating officer for Euro Disney in 1987. Skipping over to 1995, he became the president of Disneyland International, Then 4 years later, the chairman.
Imagine that's your resume.
Right?
Right.
Like
Can you imagine?
he's just clearly stepping up that ladder.
Right?
Like, he was the vice president. Now he's the president. Now he's the chairman. Like,
Yeah.
where do you go?
You go back. You start back
start
as
back-
a
you start
janitor
over.
and you work your way back up.
You go
Back to
home
the-
and you
go
just
back to the
collect your
Matterhorn,
checks.
Well, that's pretty much what happened. He retired in 2001 after successfully opening Tokyo Disney Sea. He was named a Disney legend in 2002, and he is one of the very few individuals who have windows in multiple parks. He has two windows. One
Because
in
he
Disney.
installed them.
Exactly.
He has one in Disneyland and one in Tokyo Disney. So basically, he was the leader of operations and HR, kind of. He was like that guy. I found both of the windows. The one in Disneyland is located above the Disney Clothiers. And the inscription on it says, Global Exports and Expats, specializing in land and sea operations. Our motto, the sun never sets on our magic kingdoms. Jim Cora, Master Operator. The one in Tokyo was a little harder to find. There aren't... What? What just happened?
Bev's getting the sillies right now. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
It's terrible when I get sillies, but
I have one little part left.
Okay.
In Tokyo, the location of the window is above Fashions in the World Bazaar. That's what the store is called.
Multiple fashions? That's crazy.
No, just Fashions. Oh,
Right.
yes. Multiple. Yeah.
wait, wasn't the other window above Fashions?
It was above
Clothiers.
Clothiers. Disney Clothiers.
Same thing.
In Tokyo, it's called Fashions. The inscription there says, "You've got the vision, we've got the team. You bring the project, we'll build your dream."
Hip, hip, hip. Okay. Team, go.
Well, and it continues to say, "Visionary management, Jim Cora, proprietor." So that was a little bit interesting that the title is different on the two windows.
It is, yeah, but visionary management, kind of the same.
Same idea.
Same idea,
Totally same
yeah.
idea. And that's...
I mean, how do you lump a career like that into a title? You
Yeah.
can't. You know what I mean?
Well, I was just like the Tokyo one is just kind of funny. So trying to find his window.
Yeah.
Tokyo doesn't have a lot of names on their windows.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This one is giant. It takes up 3 windows.
Wow.
So they have a lot of words on their windows, but not a lot of names from what I could see. And I could be
Okay.
wrong, but it was really difficult to find their windows actually. But yeah, and that's Jim Cora.
Jim Cora,
Is he
master
alive?
of everything.
Yes. Yes.
We should interview him.
We should. That's what I was
That'd be
thinking.
great.
He only retired in 2001.
Thank you, Taryn. You did great. Despite Beverly's outbursts. Inappropriate
I know, that was
outbursts, I might
so
add.
rude. Like, you can't even let me get through a segment.
It's like, who do you think you
Will
are?
Stab you with a pen and then click it.
Oh, wow.
Just to go that extra, quarter of a millimeter. Out of spite.
I love you.
Thank you very much, Beverly. You did great.
Thanks.
On Iwerks.
I find him fascinating, so
I think it's cool. I'll watch. What's the documentary called again?
the hand behind the mouth.
Hand That Rocks the Cradle. Okay, I will watch it. I've seen that. It's very weird. When's the blonde lady?
Stop it.
Okay, let's do the fact of the show and let's get out of here. When the park opened, it had both pay and free toilets. I don't know if you guys knew that. Pay toilets
Did not know that.
and free toilets. They had pay toilets and free toilets.
What was the
I
difference?
understand where one of them
One
clean.
you paid
Well,
for.
I know that, but do you get
And
more for
one-
paying for it?
I don't know. But one day, Walt had to use the restroom in the park and noticed the free toilet was full, but the paid ones were empty. Not having change on him to use the pay ones, he went to the maintenance department and said, "The thing that will make Disneyland successful is that our toilets are always going to be clean and they are always going to be free."
Nice.
So I thought that was pretty cool because, we all think it's the Imagineering or the detail, the attention to all the things. No, it's clearly, from Walt's lips, what made Disneyland successful was that their toilets will always be clean and always be free.
Not bad.
Wow.
I appreciate that.
That's inspirational.
It is inspirational. I appreciate it too. But he didn't say they will never stink.
Oh, gosh,
Gotta
they
go-
always stink.
Nope. Gotta go to the tiki room. I'm telling you. Best toilet in the whole park.
So they were full.
So you had free and pay ones, and the free ones were full, but the pay ones were still available.
Yeah.
But Walt didn't have a dime. I guess it cost like $1.
occupied.
Yes, occupied. They're not porta potties, Bev.
Houses.
I was like,
Beverly stinks. All right, we got to get out of here, everybody. Thanks a lot for listening. We'll see you in the parks.